Hello and welcome to Dawn Chorus Writes, a Miraculous Ladybug fanfiction and audio fiction. This is season 2 of a birthday surprise, and it's one for Marinette, so I hope you enjoy. Massive shout out to Jade Carol for her beautiful, stunning artwork in this thumbnail, so make sure you go and send her some love. Make sure you send me some love by smashing that like button, comment down below what you think of it, and make sure you subscribe. And this is a special one that I decided to do because today is my birthday. So this is, I hope you enjoy season 2, part 1. Part 1. Adrien's POV. Adrien woke with a spring in his step and a plan formed in his mind on how to carry out the best birthday surprise he could for Marinette. It was fine. He had plenty of time, a whole month before her birthday, and if he got the mastermind of schemes and illusions, aka Alia, on board with what he was planning, this would work out, wouldn't it? The idea had come to him the other day when they had finally found some alone time together and spent the afternoon in the park and watched the late spring blossom on the trees float down around them. It had been hard of late, finding time where they could just enjoy each other's company. What with school studies and hawkmoth, or whatever he liked to call himself nowadays, increased activities meant he and his lady were running on fumes and needed some much desired time off. Maybe a weekend away for her birthday. Memories of his birthday flashed through his mind, causing a wide grin to form across his lips. Marinette had made it the best one ever, planning out the whole day just for the two of them. Never mind able to confess his love for her, to only then find out she was also bugaboo. Oh, cheddar. How on earth was he going to top that for hers? No. He had to remain true to his plan. It was a brilliant plan, and she was going to love it. Fingers crossed. So let me get this straight. You're going to get Alia to help plan a camping trip away in the countryside for Marinette's birthday? And you're not going to tell Marinette what you are planning? Then please tell me, oh Romeo, what cheesy plan have you created to convince Ladybug that she and Cat Noir are going to leave Paris unguarded for 2 nights, whilst Raisin, who presently doesn't seem to understand the meaning of sleep, let alone stop, so that the lovebirds can have a little holiday? Plag, you need to stop calling Hawkmoth, Monarch, whatever he is, it's not a Raisin. Adrien rubbed a towel across his damp hair before flinging at his floating buddy, who was shoving another piece of cheese into his mouth while chuckling to himself. Why not? He dresses up all purple like a grape, but I bet he's all dried up and shriveled, especially not good enough to go anywhere near my Camembert. He paused, staring at the piece he was holding out in front of him, and gave it a kiss. Adrien rolled his eyes. He wondered sometimes what really went on in his Kwame's head, and if he needed to ration the cheese order again. Shifting the conversation back, Adrien continued. Anyway, I get it, Plag, but I have thought this through, and the great thing is, my princess is my lady, and I'm her prince and kitty. So if there's a problem, we can fly back to Paris and deal with it and fly back to the campsite. Adrien proudly smirked at his little buddy as he continued to select a jumper for the day. Plag zoomed in front of his face and gave him the wide-eyed look that would have made his non-existing eyebrows to raise up. You seem to miss something. Just because you know now Alia is Arena, that lady blogger doesn't and can't know that you are Cat Noir. Not on top of her knowing Marinette is now Ladybug. Adrien turned his back on Plag as he hunted for his dark brown casual boots. Exactly. Marinette can slip off and Alia can go into distract mode with Nino. And yourself. Adrien doesn't know, remember? So how would you explain it to them that you're suddenly disappearance from the middle of nowhere for hours? Adrien groaned. Plagg had just voiced out loads of the same problems he'd been mulling over. I have plenty of time to think that problem through. Plus, it's a what-if situation anyhow. Adrien finished tying his laces and made his way back to his desk to collect last night's homework. If you say so, Romeo. Plagg, seriously, what's with the nicknames today? I have asked you not to call me that. Romeo and Juliet end in tragedy. An ending that isn't on the cards for me and Marinette. Fine. How about Casanova? Or Prince Charming? Plagg cackled before shoving another piece into his mouth. Haven't you even worked out how you are going to convince your father to allow you to spend 2 nights away with your friends? Never mind the girlfriend he's still against. Plagg crossed his paws against his now oversized belly and stared at him. Not yet, Adrien mumbled. Oh, his buddy was on top form this morning, wasn't he? Making Adrien excited about the prospect of school, just so that he wouldn't have to listen to Plagg repeat his current anxiety-fueled problems he didn't have the answers to. Plus, he was looking forward to seeing his princess. One of Marinette's calming hugs was exactly what he needed at this present moment. It had been 2 days since their date, and he had missed her. Particularly since they had decided that Cat Noir and Ladybug can't date. It would give their enemy an advantage over them. Therefore, when they teamed up to fight an Akuma or a Sentimonster, they had to act professionally until they de-transformed again. It was the best part. When they stood in a vacant alley, the magic washing over his body as he wrapped his arms around Marinette. Knowing she was all right. No lasting marks from the villain. The blissful sensation as his lips were able to brush against hers, planting him back into reality once again. It was strange to think, before his birthday only 5 months ago, being Cat was everything to him. It was freedom away from Adrien and his strict lifestyle. It meant visiting his princess on her balcony, fighting Akumas with his lady. But now, dating Marinette had changed all that. Finally, he could combine Cat and Adrien together and just be himself. Someone she loved and who loved her. Wishing for a day when there were no more whatever his name was, and he could plan out his life with his love. To him, that was now his idea of freedom. He jumped at the sound of the reminder notification sounding off his phone, signaling that it was time to leave. Gremlin, it's time to leave. Oi! Who you calling Gremlin? Plagg huffed, zooming into Adrien's bag. Names can hurt, you know. Adrien let out a long breath. Today was going to be one of those days. He could feel it. Especially if this little creature of destruction had anything to do with it. The car pulled up in front of the school steps, and he saw Marinette standing, waiting for him, holding out a paper bag filled with treats to keep him going until lunch. She looked particularly cute today, with her loose hair flying across her face, fighting against the cool spring breeze, whilst hugging her jacket a little tighter against her body. Morning, my prince. She beamed at him with a smile filled with sunshine, powerful enough to banish away the dark clouds that had formed inside of his mind after this morning's conversation. In one move, he took the bag out of her hand and wrapped his arms tightly around her. He melted against her as her arms mirrored his. I've missed you, princess. He breathed into her neck, followed by a sharp inhale of sugar, vanilla, and raspberry. Oh, he was home again, and everything was how it should be. She stroked her hand up and down his back in a soothing rhythm. I missed you too. So I was wondering if you had time after school for a study date. I have a mountain to do, but would love the company. She pulled back a little and glanced up into his eyes through her lashes whilst rolling her bottom lip between her teeth. Knowing it was that gesture he could never say no to. Not that he even wanted to. I know my mom and papa would like to see you too. Maybe stay for dinner? Well, it just happens to be that I am free this afternoon. Natalie sent me a message that father has a last-minute appointment in Cannes and flying down this morning. He raised his eyebrows, knowing the smirk that had appeared across his lips, which means I might be able to fit in a couple of rounds of Mega Strike after dinner into the bargain. Marinette let out a squeak in excitement before quickly kissing him on the lips, transferring her grin onto his. Have I told you today that I love you? Adrien tried his best to do a mock thoughtful expression, knowing a blush of pink was forming across his cheeks. Not so far. Because I do. I love you, and I love spending my time with you. I just wish we didn't need to juggle our time together like this, you know? Marinette let out a sigh that caused his heart to hurt as her forehead landed on his chest. Stealing moments together when your father isn't looking? Exhausted from being... She glanced up at him, knowing she was referring to the superhero identities. Not to mention school. I swear they have doubled the amount of assignments. I don't know how you do it with your extra subjects on top. I mean, I haven't even had time to create a new project. She sighed again, crushing her forehead against his chest. He raised his hand from around her waist and stroked down some of the flyaway hairs from the top of her head. You know what our blessing is? She rubbed her forehead against his shirt and let out a little mumble, bringing a smile to his face at the cute gesture. We have each other. We understand each other. We love each other. Our future is with each other, no matter what anyone else thinks. We know that fact will never change. He leaned down and kissed her tenderly on her crown. I love you, Marinette. You are my princess and my lady. Fate has to be on our side. All we need to do is trust it and do our best at this present moment and be happy when we are able to steal these moments, knowing one day Raisin will be no more. We will be attending university and I will be out of my father's house, away from his control. He leaned back a little as she raised her head up, catching his eyes. The deep waters of her ocean eyes pulled him in, trapping him in her hold, only breaking when her lips landed on his. Oh, you're right, she breathed onto his lips, adding an extra peck. You know what I wish for? Well, not wish, if you know what I mean, she chuckled lightly. I yearn to be just a regular couple, just for a couple of days, or even just one day, when we don't have to worry about anything except for how we would spend our day together. I like how my princess thinks. So tell me, how would you like to spend this day? Not sure. Maybe escape the city, have a picnic. No distractions to tear us away. Oh, I don't know. It is just wishful thinking for now. An image to hold on to fight for, like you said. But that one day we win. In that moment, Adrien promised himself that no matter how hard it might be to pull off this birthday surprise for Marinette, he would make sure it would happen, to give her hope and a way to show her a glimpse of what their future would look like together. He might be a black cat, but with Ladybug's luck and fate on their side, how could it go wrong? Thank you for listening to part 1 of season 2 of A Birthday Surprise. I hope you enjoyed it. I know this is a short one. Time has been a bit tight for me. Next part 2 will be longer. I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure you stay tuned. Smash that like button if you did. Give me an extra birthday. Smash like and comment down below what you think of it. What will happen next? I mean, what could possibly go wrong? And make sure you subscribe so you do not miss out on this series and other series that are currently ongoing, and I will be finishing off very soon. And yeah, and I hope you're all good, and I will speak to you soon. Bye.